So, good evening and welcome to the day 6 and the last session of this Ayurveda course. Do you hear me well?
Yes.
Yeah, good. What we would like to cover today, if I want to use a mouthful of word and try to make it sound very palatable to the ears, I will use the word, how can we increase longevity, delay the aging process or age gracefully, and so on and so forth. But if I want to use a more Ayurvedic, non-spicy, simple way of explaining this whole thing, this is all about Dinacharya and Ritucharya. Din means day. Acharya comes from the acharan, meaning behavior. So what are the daily behaviors that you should do? And what are the behaviors that you should do based on the season? Now, Ayurveda is not new to quite a few of you. Yeah, like you have been with me in on and off in Ayurveda retreat. You have done a serious Ayurveda courses. Some of you are still doing Ayurveda courses, and you know a variety of stuff. They're wonderful, and you should follow whatever sticks to you. You know. So you have been shared in this course the material from Tamara. She taught you how to do the breast massage and some body massage, pressure point and stuff like that. If you resonate with that, go ahead, do that. It has its own benefit. And there are several other practices that you should be applying. Remember the golden rule. And here I'm saying this not purely as an Ayurveda therapist, but more also as somebody who's studying and trying to understand a bit of human psychology, and I have a few years of understanding and experience in yoga. What matters in your life and what will matter in your life is you maintain mental, emotional sanity. Now, this is not Ayurveda, so no need to take a note on that. Just remember one thing. Doing more might not mean your well-being is improving. And I see this pattern in many of my students whose cup of life is full, if not overflowing, but they're heavily biased by the idea that if I do one more course and if I just attend one more seminar or workshop, my life is going to transform. And they keep on gathering information. And you become like a big fat hard drive of information, but at the end of the day, it is just a hard drive of information. Nothing melts down into the system, or very little melts down to the system. So first thing first, I would like to suggest you, when we talk about Dinacharya, Ritucharya, go back 6 weeks when we started the practice, and I said in the very first session, woman is the embodiment of spontaneity. You have to be spontaneous. Between your two tasks, you need to have enormous, if not enormous, at least enough amount of free time. Your life should be made of, your to-do list should be one task and doing nothing, one task and then doing nothing, another task and doing nothing, like a buffer of empty space. This will help you from not converting yourself into a man. You don't want, instead of your feminine hormone, your system to get flooded with testosterone. I hope. And the mantra is you create this some space. Now, this is not what Ayurveda is telling you. This is not from Ayurveda. This is my observation, my take, my understanding, and I take full credit as well as the criticism if you want to throw that to me. So anybody who's going to listen to this later on, I take full responsibility of saying this aspect. Now, there is something more that I would like to bring on the screen right now. And before I do that, remember this, that in one of the first two sessions I have mentioned, Ayurveda is the science of life. It's not the science of dead. Ayurveda is the science where the whole science came into existence by observing the living beings, not dissecting the dead bodies. And when you observe the living beings cannot be separately observed outside the parameter of nature. We are part of the nature. And you repeat this as a mantra. And if you are really trying to imbibe Ayurveda in your life, throw all the notes, throw all your other lectures, and throw away all these rituals, everything. And just remember one point as clearly as you can, that you are part of nature. You wake up in the morning and repeat, I am part of the nature. I am part of the nature. I am part of the nature. And one fine morning, I hope you will realize, as you are the extension of the nature, you will use nature as the mirror. You will use nature as the mirror. When you will observe nature, the nature will show you your reflection of what is malfunctioning, what is distorted. Nature will give you hints. Nature will give you indication on how you should modulate every single aspect of life. And when I use the word nature, I'm not referring that tomorrow you wake up and you go to the forest and look at the trees and the skies and the fallen autumn leaves. You can do that also. But here, the nature, by nature, I mean, watch how the day is transiting into the evening, how the evening is transiting into the night. What happens in the night in the nature? What happens during the daytime in the nature? Observe the variety of animals, birds, insects. Observe the cloud, the sky, the rain, the sun, the storm, and you will become really, really wise. I don't know, I don't think I have shared this story, definitely not in this course, but at some point I think I mentioned this in one of my yoga training program. When my grandparents were alive and I was a kid, in their village, they used to have a head farmer. So they had a huge farming land, and the head farmer, he was in 80 plus, a guy very fragile, has almost no physical power, but he was the head among the farming clan that my grandparents used to support, and he was to monitor how the cultivation will happen, when to be planted and everything. And for me, he was a magician. Well, for every kid, a grandfather figure can be a very interesting character to observe and learn. But he used to be the guy who will look up in the sky and you will see there is absolutely no cloud whatsoever. It's a scorching summer. And he will say, in 3 hours, there will be rain. Or he will observe how the ants are moving and he will say, oh, be careful. Tomorrow we might see a cobra in this area. And there is too. I don't know where from he had this kind of wisdom, and he had no whatsoever literacy. He couldn't even write his name, but he knew how to interpret the subtle signals from the nature. So that I consider as an intelligence, which I would invite you to imbibe and understand. Even though we are city dwellers, we don't need to figure out when it will rain because our smartwatch will tell you. You don't need to chase where the snake is going to appear and whatnot. But you can understand many things about yourself if you are mindful about your lunar cycle, your menstrual cycle. If you understand the cycle of day and night, if you understand the cycle of this 1 month transiting to the other, if you understand the cycle of season, if you understand the cycle of your marital relationship, all of these are cyclic. Nothing is linear. So once you grab the essence of these cycles, obviously you have a very deeper understanding about what's happening within yourself. Now, if you miss this, then you might fall in the hamster wheel where you will keep on collecting information after information and you won't be able to decode. So my gentle, polite invitation to you is please try to where is my PDF? Advance. One second. Try to, okay, leave it. 1 second. Oh, second. Now let's see if it shares. I don't know. Do you see my screen well enough? No? You don't see the...
Very
Sorry?
little. Very little.
Very little.
Can be read, I think.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star. Okay. Share the full screen. Content only. What's wrong with this? Yeah. Now?
It's better. Yeah.
Better but not good.
It's not good for me because I don't have my glasses, but maybe other.
Now?
Yes. Yeah.
Doamna plecat. There was a doamna here. Okay, so forget about everything. I will share this PDF with you. And if you remember this prototype, This will be the map for you to navigate through your day. Pretty much, this is all what you need. More than this, it's not needed if you understand the essence of it. It will take the rest of our life to implement everything from here. So, my advice is find a sweet spot, couple of important points to apply, the rest you ignore. No worries. Okay? So, what do you want to apply? Oh, by the way, there's two things. On the left side of the screen,
Mhm.
there is this Ayurvedic clock. Yeah, this is what you're doing. But right now, I am in neck deep in studying Chinese medicine, and I am simply awed by how wonderful and to a large extent similar is the Chinese wisdom. And there are areas where it is even slightly more practically applicable than Ayurveda. So I thought of sharing this with you. And let's look into both the things and get an idea about and try not to get confused, please. Okay.
Mhm.
So first we look into what is more familiar to us, and then we will draw a little parallel and we will see why and what Ayurveda is talking about. First thing first, you are expected to wake up before 6 a.m. In fact, you're expected to wake up around 4 a.m. Around 4 a.m. Okay? Are you doing this? Majority of you know. Some of the yoga practitioner, I'm guessing you are, if not you're waking up at 4, you are by 4:35, you're up and doing your practice, which is wonderful. Now, why you should be waking up at this hour if you want to live longer and healthy and vibrant? This is the time where your lungs is very active, and that you can see here 4a,
Mhm.
which is also they're saying it is about deep sleep, dreams, memory, detoxing of the lungs. So you need to be up before the large intestine time starts getting activated, or in Ayurvedic way, before the kapha starts activated. What is kapha? Kapha, we both know, it is the earth element blended with water, right? Okay. Now, kapha in simple terms, it also means conditioning. So you don't want to wake up when you are heavily conditioned, programmed. You want to wake up before that when you can still reprogram your mind. Otherwise, if you're waking up into the kapha time, there are a couple of downside of that. The first is there will be an enormous amount of sluggishness. There will be exertion, tiredness, heaviness in the body. There is a natural tendency of tamasic nature. So procrastination, feeling depressed, not able to connect with the meaning and the purpose can be felt. Kapha hour is also can make you feel extremely lazy to select, okay, 5 more minutes, let me snooze the phone and I can sleep a little more. And then you drag yourself and then you depend on some chemicals to wake you up. And it's basically trying to roll a huge rock uphill. So whether you pick Chinese or Indian, whether you pick Indian culture or Western culture, it kind of goes without saying all the spiritual tradition equivocally speaks about waking up early. There is, I haven't heard of any spiritual tradition that says, okay, that's fine, try to sleep till 9 a.m., wake up, do your meditation, do your stuff. No. Everybody wants to do it early in the morning in the reprogramming. So my suggestion is, even though this might feel a challenging task, but please aim for this as your first goal. Now, what can happen when you go into the kapha area? Because you're heavy in Ayurveda, you try to counterbalance it with exercise, moderate exercise, not dynamic, aggressive exercise, some exercise so that you don't feel very stuck. So, few practices, TTK, palm tree pose, swaying palm tree pose, a little bit of dynamic spinal twist, squatting position, uh, shoulder stand, a little bit of sun salutation. You don't have to do all of them, but a couple of these practices will help you to stay more fluid. That is what is advised at this time of the day. Preferably, when you reach the kapha hour, before that, between this 4 to 6 a.m., you are up. You should be done by then with a quick going to the toilet. You should be done with a shower. This is what the at least Indian tradition talks about. And you should be definitely done with your positive visualization, affirmation, meditation, mantra chanting. All of these should be done before 6. And even it might sound quite an enormous amount of task that I'm advising you to do, but literally everything can be managed within 35, 40 minutes because you are not asked to do a huge amount of practice. 10 minutes of meditation is enough. 10 minutes of mantra practice is enough. And to go to the toilet, freshen up and shower, what, another 15, 20 minutes. So half an hour earlier, if you wake up, if you're up by 5 o'clock, that can be a good thing to do. Now, I want you to switch to the Chinese clock. This is the hour of the lung. The lung is almost like a second in command, right? It's the heart, and lungs does what? It helps you to pump the blood into the whole system. So you want to remain youthful. You are talking about detoxification and all those fancy words. I want to eliminate blah, blah, blah. How can that happen if your circulation is sluggish? Right? You know, in your house or in your apartment, if you at least live in Bucharest, you will know this. And many people will complain. Many people will complain, oh, I have to open the tap and I have to wait for 10 minutes for the hot water to come. It's because the pump is not functioning enough to pump the water up from the ground floor or from the source till the 10th floor or so on and so forth. So lungs does that pumping work. So in the morning when you wake up, instead of shrinking yourself and entering into your conditioned state and thinking about your problem and thinking about everything that is dysfunctional, you open yourself up. Chin up, do your pranayama, do the breath hold, meditate on impermanence, meditate on death. So this will help you to appreciate life more. And between 5 to 7, you see it's a large intestine in the Chinese clock, which is indicating here you eliminate. So you need to create space in your hard drive before you stuff more thing, right? So that's why the morning toilet habit. Many of you have daily toilet habits, which is very good, but then you choose to go to the toilet somewhere around mid part of the day, whenever you have some time based on other priorities. I really request you pull that up to early morning. If not, drink warm water, do TTK and go to the toilet. This is why you should do this in the first thing in the morning. Um, so this is the practice, and then you, in the kapha hour, you have your first breakfast, preferably preferably because now our lifestyle has deviated from what we used to do even 50 years ago. So the breakfast should not be within the first couple of hours. So you see the kapha hour ends at 10 o'clock. So by 9:30ish, I would recommend you to have your meal. In Ayurvedic clock, today our teacher was saying, look at the earth hour. It is between 7 a.m. till 11 a.m. This is when there is earth, you store, you nourish. So towards the 10:30, 11, go and have your meal, which is more like these modern day concept of having a brunch. There is no lunch concept here. And in fact, I guess in your Romanian, German, even in Indian lifestyle, there were no, there is no such concept of having 3 meals per day. Majority of the culture was by around 11, 11:30 before noon to have the main meal. So you can try to push it and have that meal by between 10:30, 11, 11:30, in that bandwidth before 12. Get yourself a good meal. Please give me a second. Okay. Sorry, I got distracted. Got a message from India. Um, so try to get your lunch around this time. What you should eat? Of course, protein and fiber. Avoid carbs if you want to increase your longevity. If you want to, burn yourself sooner, pump in more glucose, add more sugar, that will speed up your time in this planet. Avoid milk and dairy product in the morning. If you'll ask me why, very simple reason. Dairy product is, for majority of us, it's going to make us sluggish. Dairy product adds dampness. It adds more kapha element into the system. You see, we need the fire. We need the heat. So if we want to put a lot of water in the system, and when you are in the nourishing earth phase, it's not going to work. You will have slow metabolism. And even if you think that, yes, I'm having cereals with yogurt because it's healthy, you are simply dampening the process and it will not do any good to your system. So avoid doing that. You have pitta hour. This is this time around 11 to 2. It should be the strongest effective hour of the day. Now there is a difference between Chinese traditional medicine and Ayurveda. Chinese traditional medicine says you can skip lunch. They don't have a lunch thing concept. Whereas in Ayurveda, we say you need to have your heaviest meal around 12 o'clock. So there's a little bit of difference here. But then also try to understand one thing. When Ayurveda you're talking about, we are talking in a tropical weather. When we talk about China, we talk above the Himalayas. So Keep in mind the latitude in which we are talking. Keep in mind the weather is different than what we are looking at a tropical Indian weather. So all of this you have to keep in mind. Okay. So morning breakfast, nothing cold, warm food to be eaten, preferably as a brunch. The golden rule of eating is 1/4 solid, 1/4 liquid, one third solid, one third liquid, one third empty. So you leave enough amount of space empty in your stomach, and that's it. And that should be your one of the prime meal of the day. Then Ayurveda will, in a very classical form, will say in the afternoon you should not be taking any nap. There is no sleeping. In traditional medicine and in yoga, the yoga nidra is recommended, especially those of you who are working hard with your physical body, not the one who is just staying static and haven't moved their body at all. And your teacher says, you should rest. And you say, oh, Chebine, let me spread the yoga mat and let me do a yoga nidra. It is not going to work. So instead of lying and doing yoga nidra, you practice midday pranayam, or sit and do one round of mala, meditate your mantras. Yeah. So this is what you need to keep in mind. Then you move to the heaviest meals. So yeah, anybody who will choose to do yoga nidra should be done before lunch hour, before your lunch, not after. After lunch, you will slow down your metabolism. Don't do that. Before lunch. After lunch, you walk a little bit, and then if you want to stay static for a while, that's fine. Now you keep in mind, as this hour between 10 to 2, your pitta is high, your heat will be very high, your small intestine will be very functioning. That is, a lot of Agni Tattva is going to be there. So keep those tough negotiations, the tough work for this time of the day. You will have more energy in doing. In the same time, as you migrate from 2 to 4 and 6, this slide, you need to be very disciplined. And you will notice that many times you will find going sloppy in the second part of the day. It can happen, at least for me. Oh, Fachab, okay, I'm going to work on this, but let me just sit. Let me scroll a little bit on the social media. Let me do this. Let me talk to my friend. And when I do that kind of thing, I lose a lot of time, because this is the period when the Vata is active. Vata is responsible to make you distracted. So you have to have a very clear routine post lunch hour. The more structured you are, the better it will be. Otherwise, things will be challenging. Okay. This is the Vata hour, and yes, in the Vata hour is again a good time to recharge your batteries. So that would mean towards the end, by in the early evening, you can do a little bit of a slow yoga, what you called as a yin yoga, or even a pure slow Satyananda yoga practice can be beautifully done in the early evening, because your lunch has happened around 12 o'clock, your food has been digested, your body is more supple, you can sit and meditate, you can do some easy asanas. And this is where you start slowly slowing down, because you have done the major chunk of the work in this point. This could be a good time for you to go to a spa, you to go and get yourself a massage, you to stay in the sauna, you to go and a walk in the forest, you to practice some other well-being ritual, maybe even a tea ceremony, but not tea with caffeine, of course. That will not do good. And then as the 6 p.m. sets, this is your retirement process should start. This is not the thing, Odoamne, I haven't done that, let me finish. And then I know some people um, who all of a sudden around 7 p.m. they realize that they have been sloppy all throughout the day, and then they start doing their laundry and making phone calls, writing the project, and everything that they should have done in the first part of the day. They get very active. When you behave like that, when you transform this kapha into a pitta hour, what happens? You make that as a continuous process of pitta. To see, after 10 p.m. it is pitta hour. And you will notice one thing, that around 8 p.m., 9 p.m. you will feel a little sleepy. There will be a certain amount of tiredness in your body. And if you can bypass the tiredness in 15-20 minutes by scrolling or talking or whatever it is, then you can get an extra 2 more hours or 3 more hours of sleeplessness, and you can happily function past midnight. Because what you have moved into the from the pitta hour to the from the kapha hour to the pitta hour, and now pitta got aggravated and you cannot sleep. So people with insomnia, if you are not in bed technically before 10 or around 10ish, you will find it's very challenging to go to sleep if you're sleeping late. Yeah. So this is something that you need to keep in mind. Staying awake past 10 p.m., the mind gets active. When the mind gets overly active, then what will happen? Your head is on the pillow, but you are planning, tomorrow I need to do this, and day after tomorrow I need to do that, and these are my tasks. And you will feel like the expression digital impresa. You're very agitated and active. That kind of thing can happen. So yeah, this is also happening here. So if you see, technically, before you should start slowing down and have your food when you are in this water phase, or the kidney is dominant, not moving too much, not putting the food in the fire area, because here you are eating your light meal, making love, do whatever you need to do, but in the earlier part of the day, and then you slow down your whole process. This is what the Chinese medicine is recommending. What is practical, what is not practical, that's up to you. Bottom line, please make it a point, as one of the first well-being ritual is to have an early to bed, early to rise. This should be the habit that you practice. There is a saying in English, early to bed, early to rise keeps a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. We heard that since our childhood. I don't know if there is a Romanian version of it or not. So keep that in mind. Okay. What else? Sleep in a room which is cold. Important. Sleep wearing, I know this might be entering into some of your personal space here, but sleep wearing as minimal clothes as possible, and as less skin tight clothes as possible. It should be cotton, it can be silk, no issues, but the cotton would be maybe more better, good for your skin, good for the energy management. You can have something slightly heavy, especially those of you who have a challenge in falling asleep. You might feel it better with excess vata people. There are actually now available out there some form of blankets. They're heavy. They're like one blanket is like a 3-4 kilograms or 5 kilograms of blanket. So they like keep you pressed into the bed. Very good. It's a very comfy, safe feeling. You can use one of those. I happen to use one such blanket. I mean, my entire childhood at my grandparents, I have used those kind of quilt where you feel suffocated. They're so heavy. But now, now these modern ones are quite breathable, and yeah, it was interesting to sleep under that. So that's what you can try doing this. Okay. So this is your dinacharya practice. Dinacharya practice. And don't try to put all your spiritual practices in the morning 6 a.m. You cannot do this. If you want to do your journaling and all that in the vata hour, it can be a good time. So if you get time, this is a good time to do those kind of thing. Um, use the mind activity more in the vata hour. In this midnight pitta hour, you should try to transit through the pitta hour in deep sleep. And then in the early morning, when the vata hour is there, you should wake up, at least not necessarily at 2. In the ashram, we actually wake up at 2:30, 3 o'clock. Wake up by 4:35 will be a good starting point, but if you can wake up 4, it is absolutely fantastic. Your life will be transformed within a month, or even less. So that would be good. And in this kapha hour, towards the later part of the kapha hour, nourish yourself. Never ever try to wake up in the kapha hour. That's another golden rule that you will start following if you're not already doing that. So don't wake up after 6. Okay. Now there are a few things that we do, and this is also a common practice in Islam. We call it wuzu, which is, there's a very specific way of cleaning hand and feet and washing your face when you wake up and before the prayer. This particular practice will help you to tone down your uh, polyvagal tonality, your vagus nerve, which is kind of constantly communicating with the stress factor outward and is responsible to keep you in your homeostasis. So what you need to do when you wake up in the morning, if you're not taking shower, now listen to this part very, cold water splash on your face, splash, not touch, splash, cold water. Tap, extreme left is hot, extreme right is cold. So this is extreme right cold and splashing. I mean, I can't go more graphic than this. Then taking that cold water on the back of your neck, wash the hand is cold, and place it there. It will help you to not only to wake up, you will feel fresh. You need to wash your hands from your fingertips till your elbow with cold water. Even if you're taking a shower, this part of the body you are washing with the cold water. Your both the feet up till your ankle joint, you are washing with cold water, ice cold water. This is recommended. If you don't do it, that is your choice, but this is what you should be doing. If you will do it, you will not fall back asleep, and your meditation will be a beautiful way to open up to the new day. So keep that in mind. Okay. And this is not here in the slide, so I can turn this one off. And then there are ritucharya, the seasonal habits. And I'm going to give you the very big picture of it. Winter is about hibernation. Right now, you are not in winter. You are about to enter into the winter. You are in the autumn. Autumn is like, this is the time where the squirrel collects the nuts, stores inside, so that it can hibernate for the winter. But we want to act smarter than a squirrel, because the squirrel, they forget 85% of the food that they have hidden in some places. So we don't want to forget our resources. We need to know with what resources I'm going into my winter. Winter is about going back to your drawing board and redesigning your life. It is the hibernation time. This is the phase where the caterpillar is transforming into butterfly. This is the time when you are not that present in the social media. This is the time when, apart from the family time during Christmas and all that, you invest a lot of time with yourself. You learn, study, work on yourself. And also, if you haven't done the proper work in the autumn, winter can be very painful, because here then you will enter into depression. You will meet very soon, you will go out and you will definitely have a friend who will complain, Dwamne, I want to move to another country. I don't see the sun here in this country, and so on and so forth. So those are the people, they are finding solution outside for a problem that exists inside them. You need to awaken the sun inside you in this period, and as you go into the hibernation state. After the hibernation, when the winter is going to fade out around March, you have the Primavera Frumoasa, then you plant the seed of new habits, all the habits that you have practiced behind the door on yourself, with yourself. Okay? So March is not going to be, the March is not going to be awesome if your winter, you haven't done the homework. So your winter is about doing the homework. Then you start planting those positive Shankalpa in the March. So for many, I suggest your new year begins much before, by the end of November. December is you are on the drawing board. Then you make the Shankalpa by Christmas-ish. It will take a while till you implement, because what you decide on the Christmas, it cannot be implemented on the 1st of January. It will take a time for the Seminse to find its roots. Then after that, March, you see the sapling. And if you have been doing the right thing, you will transform into a beautiful wood, flower, growth, expansion by the summer is coming. So in the summer, we are not working for the six packs. If you want to have the six packs or the bikini body in the summer, you start working for it in the winter when the hibernation is there. And of course, in the summer is about celebration. You go out and you are like a fluturash and you do everything. Nothing wrong about that. After spending the summer properly, then you return back home. The moment you see that leaves are turning gray, remind yourself, okay, the electric castle has happened, and the untold has happened, and this has happened, and that has happened. Festivals are getting over. Now it's time for me to slowly come back home. And you start collecting resources for with what you will go within. In tropical countries like in India, autumn, in the month of September-ish, they will cultivate the rice and they will bring the food into home. So those of you have been with me to India, in the October month in ashram or in Kerala, you have seen there's a celebration time. Why they're celebrating? Because they have cultivated the food from the summertime, and now they want to hibernate. They want to go home. So that's the principle of autumn. Okay, so this is the Ritucharya, that is in a very overall practices. Now, one said that what other things that you should be doing in the season? In mid of winter, you don't do detox practice. So don't get motivated and start doing detox practices now. Your body is not going to cope up. By the time of 21st of September. That was pretty much the last time when you should have done a deep intestinal cleansing. Clean up your system so you can smoothly move into the winter hibernation. And then you eat all the kartof and every other possible non-recommended food for the entire winter. And again, when the winter gets over, you do go for another detox in the March, and you clean up your whole system so you can welcome the freshness of the summer, right? What cleansing practice you will do in the winter month? Because there's too much of heaviness. Candlelight gazing, it will keep your mind sharp. Nasal cleansing, it will keep you sharp. Kapalbhati pranayam, dynamic fire breath, keeping the fire not high, balanced. Remember, a woman is already very fiery, so don't increase more fire. You will have domestic violence. So make sure you have a moderate fire in you. Huh? You are getting too much of fire, go for a walk in the nature. Calm down, get grounded, come back home. After you have done this kind of practices, oh, another beautiful thing which we unfortunately correlate with religion now these days, and those of you who are modern people and you are to an extent anti-religion, you will not practice it. That is the fasting time. It is absolutely wonderful to go for the Christmas fast. Even if you're not Christian, even if you have nothing to do with Jesus or Krishna or Shiva, doesn't matter. Do this fasting time, eat more vegetable. It's good for your system to avoid lactose. And very thoughtfully done. Yeah. No, I spoke with Sorin a little bit, and he was saying, okay, on certain days you can have fish.
Fish.
Yeah, and then you can have vegetables. On certain days you can have milk and milk product. And no, very thoughtful. Animal is very hard to digest. Fish is way much easier. So they're not saying no, not like the Indian culture. You can eat the fish, but go for the fasting. Eat vegetable, vegetable, vegetable. That means you are very plant-based. Season is changing, metabolic fire is changing, temperature is altering in your gut. So you want to keep fiber, cooked fiber, not salad, enough so that the transition is good, right? You have this canal through which the boat has to pass. You know, by boat, what I'm referring. So if you, otherwise things get stuck in the canal. You don't want that to happen. So that's one principle of fasting like this. The same fasting thing happens again towards the beginning of spring, which is the Easter fasting, okay, which is a slightly more strict. I, and well, with the religious bent of mind, you will say, oh my God, the Christ was crucified, so I'm so sad, and the fasting has to be more rigorous. Okay, that is religious explanation. Ayurvedic explanation is, Farate, you have been through the winter, you haven't moved, you stayed like a purchel. Now, please go through a little rigorous process of taking the things out of your system. So the fasting is a little more stricter, way more strict, and then have to do for another 40 days of fasting to clean your system. Now you're not a Christian, no worries. If you're in Islam, you still have the Ramadan. You have to do the fasting period. You are in a yoga believer, in yoga practitioner. Anyways, you are doing Ekadashi, the 11th day of the moon, when you are not eating. You have that fasting period. Plus, you have these 9 days of Navaratri. You are doing 9 days of detoxification practices 4 times per week. There are several such fasting period that has to be maintained by a woman. Any woman who's above 40 and they are not doing long fasting, they are putting a lot of pressure in their vintage model, because you are 40, you are vintage, very vintage. Yeah, very polished, good looking, just like, but you're vintage. Asta este, you like it or not, you are vintage. So you have to take care of yourself. You have to change the oil, you have to change the filter, you change the mucous membrane and everything. So yeah, you keep doing that. Adina, it's 8:33. So keep that in mind. So these are the things that you have to keep in mind as you navigate through the process. After doing this, the fasting period, the practices of yoga will also change. Spring, you start adding PM2, which is dynamic, slightly dynamic, and there's you want to bring in a little more fire in your system. Movement is becoming more stronger. Summer, of course, you will go more calming practice, not aggravated practice, because anyways the heat is too strong, and you will stop practicing certain kind of pranayams in the summertime. So like this, you have to constantly balance. Obviously, you have received also from Tamara the video of the massage. As truth must be told, and you might understand this word better, when you hear the word Ayurvedic massage, it is a word that is lost in translation. In Ayurveda, there is no massage. Okay, this is a wrong translation. What they have in Ayurveda, it is called as a abhyanga. The word abhyanga is loosely translated as Ayurvedic massage. Abhyanga actually means application of oil in the body. But the Western teachers and many Indian teachers will teach it, oh, you need to massage yourself with sesame oil and this oil and almond oil. No, it's not a massaging. You apply oil. Why do you apply oil? Because what you absorb in your body in the form of ama, which is the toxic material in Ayurveda, these toxic materials are stored in the intracellular space and also the cell, within the cell, in the form of the lipid, and that needs to be squeezed out. So the golden rule of Ayurvedic massage is always from the extremities towards the heart. You push everything, all the venous blood going towards the heart. Yeah, we never pushing from the up of the leg towards the toe. No, from the feet up. This is the massage technique. Now, if it is too complex for you to do the massage on yourself, it has been told to you, apply oil on the joints. Must. Wrist, elbow, shoulder, spine, hip joint, knee joint, ankle joint, toes. Here you need to apply oil. Anybody who has a low immunity, apply oil on the gates. By the gates, I mean the most important are the four, five gates you will apply. The five gates are navel. You will take mustard oil and you will rub oil in the navel. You will rub oil, one drop of oil in your right ear, left ear, one drop of oil you will sniff like you sniff cocaine to the right nostril and then to the left nostril. Yeah, these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 you will do. Okay, so this application of oil will help you to keep the heat inside, not dissipate in a improper proportion. You can do this oil pulling also in the advanced stages of pregnancy. So Adina, that's super safe to do that as well. Nasal cleansing, obviously. I mean, like obviously you will do nasal cleansing. Those of you who have a lot of mucus in your system, you will lie on the bed with the head dropped from the edge of the bed and dip your finger on the oil, preferably mustard oil. It will burn. Don't curse me later. And drop one drop of oil in the one nostril, another drop of oil in the left nostril. It will be like taking a half a spoon of wasabi and just having the wasabi itself. That kind of feeling it will be. But there's nothing wrong. You will, all the mucus will come out. Your head will feel lighter. Remember, this is the space. You have 5 sensory organs. 4 are located here. 4 out of 5. Eyes, nose, taste, ears, gata. So keeping this area free from kapha will help you to navigate through the process better. Okay. And the last but the least practice, in your spiritual practice, when you know how to do it, practice Kundalini yoga. Yoga that will help you to awaken and channel your energy through the 7 chakras. And I want to tell this as a disclaimer: don't do Kundalini stuff or any practice related to any chakra looking at a YouTube video or randomly picking from a book or asking ChatGPT, design me a 3 weeks Kundalini awakening practice that I can do when I am driving my car to the office. No, there are other easier way to kill yourself. Don't do this. You will go nuts. Yeah? Don't play with your Kundalini. That is a big no. One said that. What can you do being very safe? You are practicing Yoga Nidra. If I have told you not to practice Yoga Nidra, like some of you have said no to Yoga Nidra, the people who are super slow and very Ardalian type, you get overwhelmed with emotionally 6 days a week, and you are still getting tired in every 3 hours, then your kapha is not in a state of balance, then you don't practice Yoga Nidra, because Yoga Nidra cannot do any good for you. Chapter close. This is my opinion, take it or leave it. You need different practice. You need pranayama. Then you practice pranayama. But those of you can have a substantial amount of vibrant energy, and some of you present in the class belong to that category, you start practicing Yoga Nidra with opposites of emotion. Remember last week we have done that? Yeah. So feeling heat, feeling cold, feeling happy, feeling sad, opposite. So you will learn to become an observer and you can watch yourself. Third practice then you do is understanding each of the chakras, and under supervision, you pick up one chakra and start working on that chakra through some asana, through some pranayam, and you awaken. Starting point will be Muladhara chakra to feel safe within your body, within your home, in your relationship, in your job, in this planet, in the city, in this universe. Start practicing feeling safe. Without this, tepu papa, nothing gonna work. If you are not safe, you are very, very much like in a capsule. You can be in a head trip. You can say, oh, I'm such a good yoga practitioner. But till you are not feeling safe, you are not plugged in with the universal energy. And no amount of Ayurveda or TCM or Dr. Joe Dispenza, God knows what other shit you're practicing, is going to help you. So, sorry for my French, but this is what it will work. So, be super careful, experience, contemplate, meditate on what does safety means to me. Write journaling, talk in your therapy, work with safety, doubt what you know, because some of us are also very full about ourselves. They go, Yoshtiyo, I know so much. And you have create a head that is very heavy for you to carry from one point to another. That's why you get tired. That could be me as well. So sometimes we need a mirror, and preferably a mirror which can talk and slap in the same time, which help you to wake up. Exactly what my mentor will do to me and say, okay, fine, don't get too bloated about what you know or what you're doing. And it will give you a reality check. You will come back to where you are. and then you move forward. Bine? Ajapa jap practice will be good as a preparation for Kundalini Yoga. I want to give you a 10-15 minute practice before we will close today's session. Will you be interested to do that? Okay, good. Then find yourself, go and grab some water or anything that you need to do and return back to the mat. Take a minute. I will drink some water and be back. So prepare now for the practice of Ajapa Japa. Prepare now for the practice of Ajapa Jap. During the practice, you are expected to stay comfortable for close to 25 minutes. Prepare yourself now to begin the practice of Ajapa Jap. The word Ajapa Jap means spontaneous repetition of the mantra. It's a very beautiful practice which has its origin in Tantra, and this meditative practice is used to become aware of our psychic passage, the passage through which the Kundalini Shakti navigates within our body. So as you prepare for the practice, choose a posture which you can maintain for several minutes without the need to move. You can literally do this practice by being seated on a chair, and if you want to stay on a cross-legged meditative posture, make sure that you're using cushion. For some of you, it will be Better if you lean back and take a back support. Try not to use this time of meditation as a way to educate your body to sit in meditation posture. That will dilute your actual meditative experience. So I repeat, take support if needed. If you have a slightest doubt that I might not be able to stay comfortably upright for 20-25 minutes, lean to a wall, lean to your bed, lean to your couch. Good choice. Finally, you are moving back and taking support. Beautiful. Now, progressively, allow yourself, progressively allow yourself to become still. This stillness will be born out of comfort. If the body is not comfortable, you will not experience stillness. So instead of focusing on how can I be more still, try to enhance the state of comfort. Make any needful changes with your body position so that you can be very comfortable. More you become mindful of your body, the easier it will be for you to identify if you need to make adjustment with your position, with your posture. Slowly and progressively start minimizing movement. Make your whole body rock solid. And look at the body from the front, from the sides, from the back. Look at the body from within. And within the stillness of your body, identify the slightest movement taking place due to your breath. Now become aware of your abdominal space, of your heart space, of your throat. And draw the imaginary passage that travels from your abdomen till your throat. Visualize the passage that runs from your abdomen to your throat. When you breathe in next time, feel the breath traveling from the abdomen through the frontal part of your body, through the frontal passage, through your heart space, to the throat. And as you are exhaling, the breath travels from the throat, through the rib cage, to your abdomen. Give a color to this breath. The visualization of the breath, and naturally allow the breath to convert into ujjayi. Inhale, and there is a pause. Exhale, and there is a pause. Your awareness is traveling up and down as you are breathing in and out. Now pay attention to the sound of your inhaled breath. There's a soft, subtle sound when you're inhaling, and the breath travels from the navel to the throat. Listen to the sound. As you exhale, the breath travels from the throat till your abdomen. When you are inhaling, the sound is so. When you exhale, hear the sound hum. So, hum. Now, next time when you exhale, allow the psychic passage to extend. Go to your Swadhisthana chakra, and from Swadhisthana chakra, allow the channel to travel all the way up till your eyebrow center. Let the breathing become slow and steady. Inhale, pause, exhale, pause. Now, next time when you exhale, let go of the practice. Let go of the visualization of the psychic passage. Let go of the mantra. So, and feel the whole body internally. Feel the whole body and externalize your awareness to the space that surrounds you. Remember the time of the day and bring your awareness at your eyebrow center and bring in the visualization of a bright, glowing dot of light. And chant along with me the mantra Om for 3 times and the short Shanti mantras. Breathe in. Om. Om Shanti 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 Hare Hari Om. That's it. Bring your palms together, rub your palms, cover your closed eyes. Thank you. Namaste. And that brings the end of this Ayurveda in Daily Life course. I hope you will find something meaningful that you can bring in your practice, or just some theory that fades out of the mind. And of course, if you have any questions, any doubt, do ask, do send a WhatsApp as you wish.
Avi, I'm concerned about the how to eat during the day and the compatibility with my rhythm of the day, because very often in the evening on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I have yoga classes, so they end at about 8 o'clock in the evening. That means I shouldn't eat 1 or 2 hours before. So I would take the last whatever at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and then I prepare for the classes, do the classes, and when I get out of the classes, I'm absolutely hungry, and then I start to eat something. So,
That
and
makes us to, this is called a pranic hunger. After teaching a class, majority of the yoga teacher feels very hungry. And you have the class from what time? 7?
yeah, 6:45 to 8 o'clock. Mm-hmm.
Try to have your dinner by 5:30.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to eat at 4, because if I can say this, you asked, so I will give you my honest opinion. You're a yoga teacher, you're not a yoga practitioner there. You go to teach yoga there, you don't go there to practice with them. So as a yoga teacher, if you have the habit of practicing along with your student, that's not okay.
No, I don't do so.
Okay, so then you can happily eat, but don't eat like till the 10 minutes before the class, so you cannot even talk there and the food is up till your neck. So that should not happen. But you can happily eat half an hour earlier and you can give a class.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Eating before is recommended, not eating after.
Mm-hmm. And when I go and attend a class, also these classes, so if I go to the gym or to your class, it's also that here in my time zone, it ends at 8 o'clock in the evening. Or when I go to the gym, it's 8:30, 9 o'clock in the evening. So
You
that's
don't go. That's not the right time to go to the gym.
it's just for yoga class, for yoga and meditation. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Then those days do fasting. Don't
Okay.
eat. If you
Mm-hmm.
have you go to practice as a student, then the class begins at 7 o'clock, let's say, and you
Mm-hmm.
have to practice. So your light meal, which means a pumpkin soup with a toasted bread or something like that, 4 o'clock is still okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And then the rest of the day fasting, because you now with the yoga practice you gain the prana. When you teach yoga, you get hungry. When you practice yoga, you don't get hungry normally. So when you're practicing, you should not feel hungry. Most
Mm-hmm.
likely. How will I know?
Okay.
Thank you. So good evening and good night, and thank you for taking part in the sessions. Hope our path will cross again sometime, somewhere. Until then, namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye, Avi. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you, Avi.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Corinne, stay back a bit.
Yeah.
Stay back for a minute.
Yes.